Ich schätze Ihre Arbeit. The und we can ignore. You might have heard that Germans call their loved ones Schatz or Schatzi if it's a small one, and it means treasure. And a treasure has a certain value, right? So I value. Ihre is a capital I, that makes things interesting, but he's addressing Simone and Stefan, and therefore it's still the Sir situation, but maybe with a capital I now. Your Arbeit, remember the arbiter that has to work a lot. So your work. Yeah, it's capitalized, so it has to be the work. So I value your work. Und Diskretion wirklich there, and basically Ihre, your discretion very much. Der Himmel ist bedeckt. Verb is here because der Himmel is one unit. Well, there is a guy called Himmler, if you have studied some German history. Himmler was one of the baddies, and to say it ironically, and he's certainly not in the Himmel. He went down there, that's for sure. Yeah. So Himmler is not in the Himmel, he's in the Hölle. It's the opposite, and Hölle is hell, and Himmel therefore must be heaven. Why it's called Himmel, I don't know. And there's another, there's one species or some being that is certainly in the Himmel, in the heavens, and that's the Hummel. And the Hummel is a little, in English you say bumblebee, but in German it's a Hummel. So imagine that the Himmel is full of Hummel. Yeah, it's a nice way to remember this. So the heaven, and you know, if you look up you don't see heaven, you first have to look through the sky. So the sky, of course, is this. Decken. And somehow you could make thick out of this, but it's basically covered. To cover. So the sky is covered, and the B again kind of points at a place. So yeah, you can decken someone, but here it is bedecked as a word means covered. The sky is covered, maybe because of all the bumblebees. Dicke, remember thick, yeah, the D turns into th, thick. Regen, Ronald Reagan, by the way, loved the rain, and he loved Purple Rain from Prince, by Prince. So Regen is rain, yeah, because Ronald, you remember Ronald Reagan, if not, look him up. And Wolke, well, that's a tricky one, there's no connection, it's cloud. So rain clouds, thick rain clouds, and what do? They come, they kind of, literally they draw up. But I'm not sure how you would actually translate that in English. Gathering, aufziehen. Well, they're in this very specific context, they're drawing themselves together, so you could say they gather. Yeah? Aufziehen. You don't use this word too often. Usually you say that with weather, when clouds are aufziehen. So, Simone and Stefan are where in, remember, im means what? Towards, in dem, in the Garten. This you can ignore. Chancellors, chancellors, in the chancellor's garden. And untersuchen, and again I always add the subject here, we don't repeat this. After an and we can simply leave this away if it's already there. Yeah? Simone and Stefan would be here, but why say it twice? So, und Simone and Stefan under, you remember that? Suchen, you had besuchen and we talked about suchen, which means to search. And they under search the hound, yeah, Hund. This E is just a connection. It's not about several hounds. And Hütte we had before, hut, the huts of the hounds. So to under search, you can simply ignore the under. It means they searched the huts of the dogs, but it means to examine. Yeah, with untersuchen. You can also go to a doctor and you get an Untersuchung, which is an examination. Yeah. So, let's see. Die Hunde übernachten zwar immer im Haus. We have a verb here. Über Nacht is a lovely word. So the hounds is clear and there's a house. Übernachten, over, and Nacht. We have the same words. We just changed the A to an I, and then CH turns again into NI. Night. They overnight. So they stay overnight. Übernachten means to sleep. To stay overnight. Zwar, we ignore. Immer. Immer, immer, immer. Immer. Schlimmer geht immer. Oder schlimmer geht's immer. So worse, it could always go worse. Schlimmer geht's immer. So immer means always. There is a book called Embassy Town, which I found interesting because they navigate through the immer space. That's the space that has been there always. It's a lovely idea. Not my favorite book, but I like this idea. So they're always in the house. Yeah, they sleep always in the house. Aber zum Spielen sind die Hütten trotzdem praktisch. So I can see something is practical. And you see the huts again, the huts, and they are. So the huts are practical, that's all I need to know. And then let's take a look at this though. Zum Spielen, that's kind of a gerund, if you're a grammatician of sorts. Zum is also a connection of zu and dem, like im. And Spielen, you know Steven Spielberg is the Mr. Play Mountain. So Spiel, you might also know the word Spiel already, but it means to play. So, but for the play, or in order to play, are the huts practical. Trotzdem, we don't care about. Foxys Napf ist noch zur Hälfte voll. So ist, and we always look at the end. Voll, you remember, hopefully. Full, so it is full, something is full. And we look at the in front of it, so something that belongs to Foxy, because you have Foxys Napf. Oh God, I forgot what the Napf is. It's what dogs eat out of, and cats. So it's the bowl in which you put the food for the dogs and the cats. Let me look this up quickly. Well, bowl. Yeah, you don't have a special word for this then. Yeah, but it's really mainly used for animals. The plate for animals. Yeah. So the bowl is full. Well, if you understand that, you got half the message, because here you have the word half. So they are half full. Germans make this a bit more cumbersome to express that. Zur Hälfte as a fixed expression, to the half full. Yeah. Der Napf again, von fix, which is the other pug, is, so the bowl of fix is, allerdings we can ignore, but we have verschwunden again, and remember Schwund, Schwind, swindle, and if you swindle just enough, like Pinocchio, you vanish. So the bowl of fix has vanished. That was lesson 10. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon in lesson 11.